Summer. Summer is almost here. Hooray. Hooray. I love summer. Today on the episode, we are talking about summer and summer social skills. I have put together some of my most popular social skill resources just for you into a folder of printable resources and videos that you can use with your students or your own children. I think summer should be fun, but we also want to make sure that our therapy is fun and functional. Whether you are working through extended school year services, you're working in a year-round program, or you're a parent and you're tuning in and you're thinking, oh man, I want to make sure that I have some time that I can engage with my own child and work on social engagement, communication in more naturalistic settings. That is where it's at. And that's what we're going to be getting into today in this solo show of the Autism Outreach Podcast. Make sure that if you love this episode and you love the podcast, that you leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts. Leave me a little feedback. Do you like this format? Do you like solo shows? Do you want me to talk to guests about something specific? Let me know in a review. Also hit me up over on Instagram, ABA Speech by Rose. I always love hearing from you. Let's get into this episode about summer social skills.
You're listening to Autism Outreach Podcast, a podcast full of ready-to-use strategies to help those with autism strengthen their communication skills. Here's your host, Rose Griffin of ABA Speech, a speech therapist and board-certified behavior analyst who shares tips you can use in your next therapy session.
Welcome to the show. It is just me today. You are getting my undivided attention, and I am very excited to share about this topic. We are going to be talking about summer social skills, and I put together a guide, a shareable folder of resources for you that is completely free. I know that when I am working with my clients, either throughout the summer or towards the end of the school year in my school-based SLP gig, I like to be able to share resources where we can have a communication carryover. Some students that we work with will be getting extended school year services, and that means they may get services over the summer. But this is a really nice supplement that you can share with parents. If you are a parent, these are amazing free resources. And I want to walk you through exactly what is included in this freebie. I'm putting together my best free resources for you so that you can continue all that great social skill instruction that you are working on throughout the year. And if you're listening to this and it's not summer, that's okay. These are great resources no matter the time of year. But when we're taping this, it is getting to be summer. Today it was 80 here in Ohio, so we have the air on. You know, I had my sunglasses on today. I'm not going to lie. It was a nice day. So let's get into it. Summer social skills resources. The first resource that I'm going to share with you in this resource folder is our grocery store slides. There is a really fun game that I have been playing since graduate school, probably. So well over 20 years. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's been a long time, but this is a fun therapy activity that you can use at home, individual therapy, small group therapy, and I play with my own kids in the car, a variation of this. So it goes, I went to the store and I bought, and then you go around the room or back and forth and you think of things that you could buy at the store. I bought apples, I bought bananas, I bought carrots, I bought donuts. You get it, so on and so forth. When I was playing this with my students in small group instruction, I realized some students needed and benefited from a visual prompt. And so I created a slide deck that is going to be a free resource for you where it has a picture for every single letter of the alphabet. So you can systematically fade the visual if your student doesn't need the visual for your own child, but it's a really nice, fun game that you can play that is working on that social engagement piece, which we talk a lot about here at ABA Speech because it is the absolute foundation for anybody who has autism, who's not yet speaking, to build that foundation for communication. So resource number one is going to be the grocery store slides for the grocery store game. Super, super fun. I am going to share in the show notes a link for this freebie that you can get all these resources that I talk about today. Resource number 2 is going to whisk you away to a video model of Modified Uno. Modified Uno is a very fun way to play a game that can be kind of tricky. So Modified Uno, you can play with one person, many people, and the way that we modify it is we take out all the reverse, skip, draw to, the more complicated cards, and then we put out one of each color on the table. So we put out a blue, and a yellow and a green and a red. Then we pick from a main pile and we turn it over and we match by color. If your student is a really early learner or you're playing this with somebody who's an emergent communicator, you can also just hand the student one card instead of the whole deck, because having access to the whole deck and having to pick just one card, that can be really difficult for some of our students. So thinking of that, this is really, really fun. And a lot of these I'm going to talk about, these next couple resources are video models. We had Teresa Cardin on, Dr. Teresa Cardin. She's a friend of mine, so I call Teresa, but she's awesome. Very, very smart, publishes research in this area of video modeling. Video modeling is a really great way for us to watch a video, perform a skill. And there's a lot of research behind that. And why these are really nice skills is that we're working on social language skills. So when students are not in school every day, they may not be getting as many opportunities to engage in turn taking, to engage in activities with others. And so these can be generalized to siblings who are home, extended family, sitters, nannies, you name it. These are a lot of fun. And no one's guessing about how we're modifying the game because there's a video. So these are completely free on my YouTube channel, which is ABA Speech. Come visit me, follow me there. And you can share these links with anybody. Okay, the next resource is Modified Connect 4. I was actually just on a new show here in Cleveland. Oh, we'll put that in the show notes too. I can't stop talking about this because it was really kind of scary / exciting / the best thing ever, called New Day Cleveland. And so I was on the show during Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month talking about getting started with communication. Modified Connect 4 is something that we played on the game, which was very fun for me and the host, I hope. So the way that we modify Connect 4 is we give our students a choice. Do you want to be red or yellow? The student chooses. And then the goal of the activity is not to get 4 in a row because that can be tricky. The goal of the activity is just completion of the activity. I take a turn, they take a turn, I take a turn, they take a turn. I repeat, we are not having our students say, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. We are not having our students do that. That is not something that kids do when they're playing this game. So I would never want to shape up different language that's not really naturalistic. So I don't have my students engage in any of that. And a lot of these things we may not be verbalizing. We may not be talking. It's really about being in that same shared space and enjoying a social activity for the mere purpose of enjoyment of the social activity. And you may try these with your student or your client, and you may say, I don't know what Rose is thinking, but they hate this activity. Well, that's okay. Okay. Not every kid is going to like every single activity. That's why I have many for you to choose from. Okay, on to our next activity. We have Modified Scrabble. So if you have students who are a little bit older, who have some letter recognition, Modified Scrabble is very fun. And a lot of these games I'm talking about, Amazon, thank you, Amazon, or secondhand stores, garage sales, whatever, neighbors getting rid of stuff. That's how I get some of my therapy materials, is how you can get these things, very low cost. Scrabble, really fun game. It's a letter game where you make words. What makes Scrabble so hard when you play it the traditional way is all the words have to touch. So the way that we modify Scrabble, we have a video model for you, is the students can make words anywhere on the game board. So that makes it a little bit easier. For students who are new to letter recognition, putting words together, what we might do is handpick the letters that they get and have a dry erase board handy, write a word, dog, cat, pet, whatever, and show them the word dog. And then they match, they get their D, they match their O, they match their G, they put it on the game board. That's how we can modify Scrabble. So that's a really nice game if you have students who are upper school age, middle school, high school, adult. That is a really nice age respectful game, just as modified Uno and Connect Four is as well. Okay, so we talked about grocery store game, modified Uno, modified Connect Four, modified Scrabble. As an aside, if you haven't heard me tell the story yet, my husband, I really wanted to join a Scrabble group. That's how much I loved Scrabble when I met my husband. And gosh, that was before I owned a business and had 3 kids and had a job. So I had a lot of free time, but I really loved Scrabble. And I was like very excited about playing Scrabble with others. That never came to fruition. I never started a Scrabble group. So maybe in retirement someday. Okay, we have to dream, right? Okay, the next game I want to talk about is memory, modified memory, or a modified matching game. What happens with matching games are there are a ton of matches, just numerous matches. If anybody were to play memory or modified matching, or just matching without modifying it, it could take an hour. And believe me, I don't want to play that kind of game for an hour. I know my kids, my clients, they don't want to play that game for an hour either. So what I do is, it's where you're matching picture to picture. We have a video model in here for this game as well. You can just get this anywhere. I say memory, but I feel like in recent years, memory is not as popular, but there are a lot of matching games that are out there and you can get them themed as well. You know, I was just in my local store here in Ohio called Rally House, where they have all the different professional sports teams. And we had a Browns matching game, a Browns, which is our football team here in Cleveland, which I thought was really fun. So visit your store, look it up on Amazon, wherever you find games, and they should have it for you. So what I do is let's say we're going to do 10 matches. I take those 10 that we're going to do and I put them in a plastic bag and I put them in the game ready to go. That is a nice way for us to be able to play that game. The other thing that we do is you're matching, right? You're taking from a single pile and you're matching. Where could that one be? So I have card one flipped down. I pick up card one and all the other game pieces, those 10 matches, they are face up. So my student can see the pictures. So we don't have to go through every one and remember where it was, because that's hard and that's frustrating. And that might lead to frustration and a student wanting to get up from the table. So what we do is we look at the card, all the other cards are face up, we match it. We can say it, we can label it, use our device to talk about that picture, and then we put that match by us. And that's how we're going to modify memory. Okay, on to some more action-packed activities. Paper plate ice skating. Paper plate ice skating is almost free. You just need 2 paper plates, maybe 4 if you're helping and modeling how to do paper plate ice skating. And this is a fun game if you're talking about seasons. If you're living in California, I'm jealous where there's no snow. No, I do like snow sometimes. I do. But you can talk about winter. You can talk about, Christmas in July or, whatever, if you celebrate Christmas, or talk about winter and Christmas during those times, because it can be a really fun game. You just put paper plates on your feet and you just go. That's all you do. Okay. You just go. You could do follow the leader. I've played paper plate ice skating in people's homes. I've played it in clinics. I've played it in schools. It's a very, very fun game. You can get siblings involved. Going back to the idea of summer's coming and we need to have some social skills instruction. Okay. We need to have opportunities that are fun, deemed fun by our clients, by our children. We want to mix it up a bit. I worked in non-public programs for 20 years before I started my own company. And summertime, even though the kids were there, it was a year-round program. We were still in school. It had more of a camp feel. It was a little more relaxed. We were doing like obstacle courses and paper plate ice skating and all those different types of things. It was very, very fun. So you will have a video model on paper plate ice skating. If you're sitting there thinking, well, how does this even work, Rose? I can't even wrap my brain on it. That is going to be included. The next activity is a PDF printable that's going to be in your resources, and it's a scavenger hunt. So this is perfect for those walks around, maybe the clinic if you're working in a year-round program, or something you could send home with parents, or if you're doing parent training, talking with parents. about embedding these naturalistic communication opportunities, which this is fun. I used to do this with my own 3 kids. We have really nice sidewalks in my neighborhood. That was one of my requirements when I was moving. And as an aside, the neighborhood that I live in, I actually, way before I lived here, maybe 20 plus years ago, I used to see 2 students who had autism that lived in this neighborhood. So I was coming into this neighborhood way before I lived here. And anyway, we have sidewalks and I love a sidewalk. And I've done this with my own kids when they were very little, like, let's go on a scavenger hunt. Okay, there's this Halloween scavenger hunt, there's this nature scavenger hunt. And my kids loved it. We bring a little pen or a pencil, marker, and crayon, and they mark off what they had found. So these are summer type of things that you might see in more of a rural setting, or if you're at a park. And so that scavenger hunt is also going to be included as well. These are endless hours of opportunities to get outside, do stuff. You can play a lot of these things outside on the porch too, in a park pavilion. Lots and lots of fun. Okay, so scavenger hunt. I think that your clients will love, love, love that. The last 2 that I want to talk about are where you watch a video. They're would you rather video resources. If you have been with me for a long time, since 7 years ago when I started ABA Speech, something that I would share and was really popular back in the day were these printable resources that were freebies. I still have them on the website. I won't talk about them as much, but they were would you rather resources. So let's say I have one for fall and it says, would you rather eat apple pie or pumpkin pie? And then the students would choose. I was using those a lot in my clinical practice. I had a smart board at the building that I worked in for 10 years. And so I had lots of group ideas based around that. Well, into the more modern age now, my own children like to do these would you rather activities on YouTube. And I would watch them and they would be fine for a couple examples. And then something slightly inappropriate would come up and I'd, turn the channel or something. Well, I wanted to make one that is appropriate for you to use in therapy. And my clients really love this so much. So we have a would you rather vacation edition and would you rather dessert edition. I mean, who doesn't like talking about vacation and dessert? Oh man, these are my favorite things. Okay, welcome to my favorite things. What's nice about this is each one is a video. Each one has 2 pictures that are real life pictures that you can choose from. The kids get 15 seconds. You can see a little timer goes up. So if you're having students get out of their seat or use a device or come up to the board to point, it gives you that time if students need a little bit more time. This is a really fun way for us to have work on social language skills where we're talking about something fun. And if your student isn't aware of maybe the 2 choices that they have the visuals as well. So this is great for learners that will benefit from visual support. I was talking about that. I just presented at the Ohio SLP conference. I talked about working with middle school and high school students. And we talked about sometimes students may always need that visual support, and that is fine. So these resources, the Would You Rather Vacation and the Would You Rather Dessert, are going to be there for you. Very, very fun. You can use them in group therapy, send these home as links for parents or caregivers, and work on those social skills throughout the summer. Summer Social Skills Guide. This is going to be a really nice resource for you to either use in-house in your clinic and your school-based position. Teletherapy is also great. You can show these, facilitate this taking place with a caregiver as well, or a facilitator on the other end of the computer screen. And the work on social skills and that work on social engagement for the mere joy of the social engagement, we know is going to allow us to work directly on joint attention. It's going to allow us to work on these shared activities. I've been talking about my 3-pronged approach. I talk about this a lot in our membership, the ABA Speech Connection. I'm going to put a link for the membership too. If you haven't joined us, every single month we talk all about autism and communication. We do a new live CEU for speech therapists and BCBAs every single month. We have teachers in the group, and we are starting a parent portal as well that will be part of our group. So we have a BCBA who is raising 3 children. One has autism. She is going to do a monthly video focused just for parents. We already have a video up. If my child has speech delays or delays in language, what do I do? And also is going to offer a monthly Q&A. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. I want to recap these social skills resources that we talked about. We talked about the grocery store game, modified Uno, modified Connect 4, modified Scrabble, modified memory, paper plate ice skating to get up and moving, your scavenger hunt that your clients are going to love, the would you rather vacation video, and the would you rather dessert. I can't wait for you to use these. Make sure that you contact me over on my website, abaspeech.org. Let me know if you use something and your clients loved it, or visit me over on Instagram, ABA Speech by Rose. I always love hearing from you, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Autism Outreach. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode full of actionable strategies you can use in your therapy room. Write a review too. That would mean so much to me. I always love hearing from you. Have a specific topic that you want included on a future show? Reach out over on Instagram, ABA Speech by Rose, or visit me at www.abaspeech.org.